Hello everyone and welcome to the Cybernaut Gaming channel. So today's video is actually going to be about the Ryzen 3000 series and the leaked pricing that actually happened a few days ago. I guess a Singaporean retailer had leaked the pricing online, and I have to say the results look pretty good. I mean, we're going to get pretty good price to performance here, especially considering that we're going down to the 7nm process. So what does that mean? For those of you that don't know, the process is basically when you have transistors inside the CPU that do all the calculations and stuff like that. The current Ryzen 2000 series has a 12nm process, meaning the transistors inside the CPU are 12nm. If I'm wrong about that, somebody please feel free to correct me. But now the new process will have smaller transistors, therefore they can put more transistors onto the CPU die, and therefore we can have better performance. But that's enough of me talking about transistors and IPC and all that stuff, but I do encourage you guys to take it upon yourself and Google the topic. It can really get you a better understanding of CPUs and your everyday performance, and especially performance in games and other applications like that. So enough of me talking, let's get down to the leaked pricing. So looking at this Tom's Hardware article, they put together this great list that has all the CPUs on there, and if we turn our attention to the Ryzen 3 series first, they list the 6-core 12-thread Ryzen 3 3300 at $99. This is incredible because I remember years ago you had to pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and then, you know, if we rewind, I don't know, 10 years ago, you would have to pay thousands of dollars to get a 6-core CPU on the desktop. So this is incredible. This is going to enable people to stream, video edit, do whatever they want really, because those 12 threads are going to be so powerful, and it's only $100. That is going to be an amazing price to performance entry right there. So next up we have the Ryzen 3 3300X and the Ryzen 3 3300G. So the X pretty much denotes that it's just going to have a higher boost clock, and from what I've seen at least, usually the X is just a little bit higher quality silicon as far as like overclocking goes. The G would indicate that this is a APU that has integrated graphics. So let's say you needed to build a PC and you needed to wait on your graphics card, you could definitely go with one of these and then install a graphics card later down the line. But I think the real winner of this group is definitely going to be that Ryzen 3 3300. So if we turn our attention to the Ryzen 5 series, we have the 3600, 3600X, and the 3600G. And one thing that jumps out to me straight away is the fact that the 3600X and the 3600G are 95 watt TDP parts as opposed to 65 watts on the 3600. That means that the 3600 will be significantly easier to cool, and that's mostly due to its clock speed. So we can see there that it has a 4.4 gigahertz boost clock for that 3600. But when we go up to the 3600X, that goes to 4.8. That should deliver great performance right there. The Ryzen 5 3600G is an APU much like the Ryzen 3 3300G. The only difference is that it has 5 more compute units, so your frame rates will definitely be higher. You will definitely see some better performance. And it looks like if you need to save up for a GPU, you could do the same thing with this CPU as well. You can get the CPU, you can just install it in your motherboard, you can put it in your new build and everything, and you can get to gaming straight away without a graphics card. And then later down the line, when you save up some more money, then installing a discrete graphics card would be a great option for you there. So with those out of the way, let's go ahead and move over to the higher end of the spectrum here. So we're seeing the Ryzen 7 and the Ryzen 9 lineup here. Now, one thing I want to point out right now is that I don't think that the Ryzen 7s will be as good of a value for money as, say, the 2nd gen Ryzen was. Because if we look at the pricing here, $336, $370, it is a little high, honestly. I do understand that we are getting 4 more cores than previous gen and an IPC gain, as well as, the process shrink and all that stuff. But I don't think that people are going to opt for a 12-core CPU, especially if it's close to $400. It doesn't seem like a very good value proposition when you can get a second gen 2700 for like $200, or even get like a Ryzen 5 that's going to come out here for, right around $200 as well. It just seems like the Ryzen 7s are, I don't want to say that they're in an odd place, but they just don't, to me, it just doesn't seem like they're going to be very great value for money, honestly. And one of the cool things that I like about the Ryzen 7s, though, if you look at the 3700X, that boost clock goes to 5 gigahertz, a 12-core, 24-thread CPU at 5 gigahertz. If you would have told me that that would have been possible in 2019, say like, I don't know, 5 years ago, I would have told you you've been crazy. There would have been no way that any of this would have been possible, these crazy high clock speeds. So, like I said, Ryzen 7, I have feelings about it. If we shift our attention to the Ryzen 9, now, these are going to be behemoth CPUs, and I think they're much better value for money, because if you look at that Ryzen 7 3700, you're getting 12 core, not the 3700, if you look at the Ryzen 5 3600, you're getting 8 cores, 16 threads for $200. Now, that's also coming in at 4.4 gigahertz. When you look at the Ryzen 9s, the cheapest one, which looks like it's going to be $505, is 16 cores, so double the cores, double the threads. But look at that boost clock, 4.7 gigahertz, and especially if you opt for the higher end one, that 3850X is going to have a 5.1 gigahertz boost clock. That is insane. I think that these will be a very, very compelling option for Twitch streamers, content creators, and people like that. Gaming, I don't think, would really make too much use of 32 threads at the moment, but nonetheless, I really do believe that these Ryzen 9s will be powerhouse CPUs. They're essentially bringing that first-gen Threadripper to the mainstream desktop lineup, and the clock speeds are crazy high, and it is going to be a good time. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for my coverage of the Ryzen 3000 series. And I want to know what you guys think about these CPUs in the comments section down below. Is there any that you have your eye on, or are you going to skip this generation as a whole? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. So I think that's going to wrap it up for me. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I will try to post more often here. I should have lots of free time here in the next few weeks coming up. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.